Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/OhNoConsequences. As per usual, I'll be reading you the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Fickle Caller 2459. Am I the asshole for replacing pictures of my cousins with pictures of my dog? My grandpa's birthday was a couple weeks ago. 6 weeks before his birthday, I texted all of my siblings and cousins, there's 9 of us, and told them to send me a picture of themselves within the next 4 weeks so I could put it on a phone case for our grandpa's birthday. 2 weeks later, I sent the text again, saying I needed a picture of them and anybody that chooses not to send a picture will be replaced by a picture of my dog. I had 3 cousins tell me to screenshot something from their Instagram. I didn't respond. I sent a text out the day before I put in the order saying anybody that did not send a picture of themselves in the next 24 hours would be replaced by pictures of my dog. The same 3 cousins never sent pictures. Their spots have my dog in a sombrero, my dog at the pumpkin patch, and my dog in a chicken costume. They came over for my grandpa's birthday and saw him open his new phone case. They saw that their pictures weren't on the case and got mad at me for not picking something off their Instagrams like they told me to. I said that I sent 3 reminders to send me a picture with a clear warning that anybody that did not send a picture would be replaced with a picture of my dog. They knew exactly what would happen. My grandpa finds it hilarious, but their parents are telling my parents that I kept them off the phone case on purpose, and they want me to apologize. Am I the asshole for replacing them with pictures of my dog because they never sent me a picture? The most important part here is the fact that your grandpa finds it hilarious. They didn't listen to instructions, you gave them 6 weeks, they could have gone to their own Instagrams and sent a photo of themselves to you. Just that simple. Not your job to cycle through their Instagrams and find a photo. They actively opted not to listen to you, and you spelled out the consequences of what would happen if they didn't send photos. So now, your grandfather has 6 photos of his grandkids and 3 photos of your dog in just adorable scenarios. And he likes it. I'd count that as a win. Cross-posted from r/Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for not liking how my girlfriend dresses for work? So I, 43 male, don't think I'm in the wrong here, but my mother is very angry at me. And my best friend said I was a horrible person for saying what I did, and I'd be lucky if my girlfriend didn't put me out with the garbage, since I decided I wanted to act like trash. My girlfriend, 34 female, is a preschool teacher, and for some reason I can't explain, she dresses like Miss Frizzle, like a dress with a pattern of whatever they are studying. She makes a lot of them herself, now including matching masks. The kids love it, and the parents seem to think it's great. I don't like the amount of attention she gets, honestly. I'd prefer if she came home and changed before running any errands. On Friday, she helped my mom with something after work, and she was still in her weird dress. I have told her before I don't like when she dresses that way, but she tells me I don't have to like it, but I have no right to tell her how to dress. I was upset she went out like that with my mother, and told her that my mom said she was embarrassed to ask that she please not dress like that again if they're going out. I was not expecting her to call my mom and apologize. When my mom asked what she meant, she told her what I said. Fucking busted, dude. My mom was furious, explained she doesn't have a problem with how my girlfriend dresses and thinks it's great. She spends extra time doing things to engage her students. My mom then yelled at me for lying to my girlfriend and trying to throw her under the bus because I was being an insecure jerk. My girlfriend and I got into a huge fight. I said she should be embarrassed to be seen in public like that. She said the only thing she was embarrassed by was me. She hasn't spoken to me or done anything for me since. My friend said I was horrible and called me trash. I shouldn't have lied, but I think my girlfriend should take what I think about her clothes into consideration, and I'm not sorry for expecting her to dress more appropriately in public. Am I really such an asshole here? Edit, I'm sure you all will be pleased to know we broke up tonight. She said I'm too controlling and narrow-minded, so she broke up with me. So, here's the thing. Like, one, yeah, OP definitely faced consequences for his bullshit lie and how he acted, and what he got was 100% deserved. But the thing is, you're never going to interact with 99.9% of the people you run into in public ever again. You're probably never going to see those people again. Why should their opinion of you matter what your happiness would be? For you or your partner? She's happy. Let that be. But you're letting the opinions of people who you're never going to see again define you. And the thing is, if you do run into them again, and they do ask, hey, what's up with your girlfriend's interesting dresses or weird dresses? Guess what? You can then explain, oh, she's a preschool teacher. And you know what's going to happen? The respect for your girlfriend's going to raise insurmountably. But no, you're insecure over the fact that you're worried how it's going to reflect on you, so much so to the point where you're willing to lie about a made-up conversation that you and your mom had to make your girlfriend feel bad. Bro didn't account for the fact that his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend, was actually a decent person, and when she found out she upset someone, wanted to apologize. Crazy concept, I know. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for reporting my wife for bringing me snacks in the hospital? I'm 32 and male. About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with binge eating disorder. To put it simply, I eat compulsively, even when not hungry. My BMI is 43, putting me in the class 3 obesity range. Since my diagnosis, I have not improved whatsoever. Therapy and support groups have a positive effect on my mentality, but even 2 hours after, I'll be in line at a drive-thru. It has affected my health, my mental health, my finances, and of course, my wife. My wife is 37, she's average-sized, and eventually agreed that I may need actual medical intervention. After a lot of deliberation, we packed up and temporarily moved states so I could participate in an inpatient program as part of a research study. Apparently, intervention programs for binge eating disorders can be pretty hit or miss, and so this one is a new take on them, being 6 months instead of the typical 30 to 90 days. I'm currently at the end of my first month, and everything is going well. I've made a lot of friends in the program as well. At the end of the 1 month mark, visitation opened up and my wife could now visit me. Obviously, she jumped at the chance and came to visit me 2 days ago. We headed over to my room where she took her backpack off and pulled out jalapeno chips and colas, 2 of my most common binge items. At first, I freaked out, but she explained that I deserved a break and went into detail about how much trouble she went through to smuggle them through. I immediately shouted for a nurse, who forcefully removed the products from her hands and then escorted her out of the hospital with a full team. My wife has now been completely banned from the premise, and she's furious at me. The nurses and doctors have expressed nothing but gratitude and told me that had I indulged, I would have instantly been removed from the program. One thing that my wife said that made me think she had a point was, instead of telling her to put the snacks away and take them home, I went for the nuclear option of calling other people. I know that her bringing me snacks was objectively wrong, but was my reaction over the top? Some comments from the OhNoConsequences thread. Cat who walks by himself. I would hope the cat can do that. Quote, one thing that my wife said to me that made me think she had a point was instead of telling her to put the snacks away and take them home, I went for the nuclear option instead of calling other people. Turns out, he did in fact basically tell her to stop trying to give him snacks, but she refused. Quote, at first, I freaked out, but she explained that I deserved a break, and went into detail about how much trouble she went through to smuggle them through. So what else did she expect him to do? She didn't apologize and put them away when he started freaking out, but tried to talk him into it. She's an enabler, and if he stayed with her, then he probably never got free. Perpetually exhausted comments. Turns out he did in fact basically tell her to stop trying to give him snacks, but she refused. He voluntarily committed himself to an inpatient program for binge eating. If that didn't make his wife take it seriously, I don't see how him telling her to put the snacks away and take them home would have worked. At that point, the nuclear option was his only choice because clearly he has problems with self-control around food and is trying hard to address that. It's no different than bringing drugs or alcohol to someone in a sober inpatient program. And yeah, both commenters are right there. He did try and communicate with her that he didn't want the snacks. He freaked out, tried to get her out of there, tried to get her to put the snacks away. She insisted on him deserving a reward. Communication wouldn't have worked. It wasn't going to work. So the nuclear option was the only option that he had. But that's besides the point. It's kind of despicable that her husband committed himself to better his body, to fight off an eating disorder, which those are hell on earth. She literally went against his wishes, brought him not just any snack, the ones that he was the most guilty of binge eating, the ones that were the most common for him to indulge on, the ones that would most likely break him. She brought those in, and now she's surprised she was escorted off the premise. In a fucked up way, I'm actually kind of concerned this would have been deliberate sabotage on her end, that she was actually trying to get him to relapse. The only person who has a right to be furious here is OP, for their wife actively trying to sabotage them, trying to better their life. Hopefully, OP is doing well for themselves and is continuing to fight this, because that's a hell of a difficult journey to go on. OP only has one comment under their belt, and it's a comment asking them if the wife was aware of how strict the program was before she brought the food in. And it's a simple, one-word answer from OP. Yes. It does worry me that this was in fact a sabotage attempt. This is a cross post from r/bestof, and this post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, of course, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Boas Soas, posted to r/legaladviceuk, r/amItheasshole, r/askhr, and r/offmychest. Posted December 21st, 2022. Starting with r/legaladviceuk. Went on holiday while on sick leave, and boss saw. I ran out of holidays for work and got the option of last-minute holiday, so called in sick for 5 days. Lots of people do this. I'm not linked to anyone at work on Facebook, but turns out one of my friends is, and my manager has now seen posts with pictures of me on holiday. I know she's seen them because she's made a comment, but I don't know what, if anything, she's going to do. Can she do anything? Relevant comments from OP. Okay, but can they use Facebook as evidence? I thought companies couldn't use personal social media posts. And that's not what I meant. I know it's wrong, it just didn't seem as serious as this. I was a bit anxious before when she made the comment, but wasn't expecting to be sacked. People at our place only get sacked for things like fraud or serious safety. What can I do? And since I posted, all the responses seem to think I will get sacked, which, to be fair, I hadn't really expected because I didn't think they could use Facebook. I'm not sure if my manager will do this, but I'm now really worried. Can anyone advise me what I should do now? Next post, posted to r/amItheasshole. Am I the asshole for not celebrating Friends promotion? December 23rd, 2022. Christmas is going terrible. It seems very likely that I'm going to be fired from my job when I go back, for what was a massive error of judgment. I have to go to a meeting when we reopen, but advice is that it doesn't look good for me. Also, I can't really job hunt because all the companies in my field are closed over Christmas. I've never been in trouble before, and I'm feeling sick and scared. Ironically, my good friend has just got a big promotion, which is deserved. She'd planned a big night out to celebrate, which I agreed to go before all of this happened. When this happened, I said I couldn't go. I was too miserable and probably shouldn't spend the money. She said she'd pay for me. I still didn't want to go and said I'd put a damper on the night. She said it would do me good to be distracted for a night. I told her she was insensitive, and if it was for any other reason, I would go, but not for this. She told me that the trouble I was in was my own fault and I was selfish for not wanting to celebrate her success just because I fucked up. I was really hurt that she said this and it escalated. I didn't go. She still went with the other people, but she's still annoyed with me. Am I the asshole here? Verdict, asshole. Relevant comments from OP. You've seen it now? It is as it says. In my defense, I know other people who have taken sick days when they weren't sick, and I didn't really think it was this serious. Facebook. I'm not linked to anyone I work with, and I didn't post anything anyway. It was a post a friend made, and she's linked to coworkers. I didn't realize that Facebook posts could be used as evidence in work situations like this. Anyway, it seems work are treating it seriously, and I'm probably screwed. From what our union guy says. Thanks for your judgment, though. It makes me feel marginally better. And I'm not denying I did something wrong. I am owning it. But I'd say fraud is a bit of a strong word. January 1st, 2023, posted to r/askhr. I have a disciplinary meeting next week. 2 days before my 2-year work anniversary. I'm going to admit the allegation, which was that I took paid sick leave to go on holiday for a week they found some posts on social media. It was a stupid decision, which I regret. The letter I have states they are considering it as gross misconduct. I am in a union, and the rep has told me it looks bad. I now understand how serious it is, but in practice, is this something which is likely to get me sacked? Is there a reason it would be better to resign before being dismissed? I do not have another job, but I worry in case I did that and they were going to give me a warning. Is there a point this becomes obvious? Thanks for your help. I've never been in trouble like this before, so I don't know what to expect. Relevant comments from OP. The discipline policy has a list of things, and they are saying fraud and falsifying records because I signed the RTW saying that I was ill. The rep says the policy is very standard. Mirrors ACAS. 3 levels of warning, 1 right of appeal. And it wasn't even my Facebook, it was my friends. And we went away, abroad, for a week, and there were pictures over the course of the week, checking us in at our location. There were some pictures in bars, but not all. And, hi, thanks. No, I won't be there 2 years until 2 days after the hearing, unfortunately. Sad face. I wanted to go away on holiday abroad, but didn't have any holidays left, so I booked the holiday and then called in sick. At the time, it didn't seem that big a deal, but it was really stupid. I get that now. I then signed the RTW when I got back, saying I was sick. And I've never had any warnings before. I've had some time off sick, but never enough to have a warning. And I don't work in a regulated industry, so does this mean even if they sack me, it wouldn't be in a reference? And no, said I had the flu/chest infection. Update, January 14th, 2023, originally posted to r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend's brother for a job when I'm desperate? I've had a bad few weeks. I've just lost my job due to a misjudgment on my part. My company overreacted in my opinion and dismissed me. I've had to accept this and move on, but it's been hard. To keep afloat, I've got 2 minimum wage jobs in unrelated areas. I've only just started them and already absolutely hate them. They're boring and brutal. I'm quickly eating into savings and I'm desperately looking for something similar to before. I'm applying for jobs, but nothing yet. It's awful at the moment and I'm really worried. My boyfriend, Dave, and his older brother, Kieran, both work at the same company, but in different functions. Kieran is more senior and has been there longer. Dave hasn't been there long and got the job through his brother. We went to his parents for dinner the other night. Kieran and his girlfriend were there too. I've always got on well with all of them, and they know my situation and have generally been supportive. It came out, accidentally, which stung a bit, that there is a vacancy at their company, similar to my previous job. I asked about it, and Dave couldn't help. Hadn't known about it. Didn't know the people involved or what the job was. Kieran did know, and could have helped, but was non-committal and vague, but I kept asking, and he provided more details. I thought I could definitely do it, and was really enthusiastic. I asked him if I could apply, and he wasn't keen at all, and said he didn't think it was a good fit, and not my thing. He knows anything would be at the moment. I said it sounded perfect, and I wanted to apply, and asked him to put a good word in for me. He still didn't sound happy about it, and kept making lame excuses. He said it was a different department. He wasn't the hiring manager, and couldn't influence it. I was free to apply, but he couldn't really recommend me. I asked why not, as he'd recommended Dave for a job in a different department. Then his mom got involved, backing me up, saying family was important and I was a great worker. He argued for a bit with us, then said he'd not had concerns about Dave. He did about me. After everything that's happened and thinking he was on my side. Wow. I got annoyed and probably shouted a bit and asked him what he meant. He said I had a work ethic and attitude problem and I didn't get fired for nothing, and he wasn't prepared to harm his own career recommending someone who he had concerns about. He said family loyalty also meant not harming him at work. I couldn't believe it and said so. His mom agreed with me and there was a big row, us versus Kieran. Then Dave also got involved and asked his mom to back off and me to leave it, which was even more hurtful. We left soon after, and Dave is now annoyed with me for causing the fight. All I'm trying to do is get back on my feet and be given another chance, and I feel so unsupported. We had another fight, and he blames me for that. Am I the asshole? Verdict, asshole. Relevant comments from OP. I took sick leave when I wasn't sick, then went on holiday. Like I said, a stupid misjudgment, which I know others did as well, but I got caught. I will never do this again, which is why I was hoping for another chance. As you now know, I called in sick because I'd run out of annual leave and had the opportunity of a last-minute holiday. My friend posted pics on Facebook, and some of my colleagues saw. It was a stupid thing to do, but I wasn't the only one doing this. So probably didn't think enough about it until now. I do accept it now, though, and will never do anything like this again, which is why I'm hoping for another chance. I was upset because Kay was initially supportive and gave me advice and told me I could turn it around. So this feels like a huge slap in the face from him. Am I the asshole? Update. May 13th, 2023. I posted a few times just before and just after I lost my job. Looking back now, I'm embarrassed about how entitled I sounded, but I was a bit in shock and disbelief, and not really thinking straight at the time. I worked at my previous job for nearly 2 years. The culture and enforcement around timekeeping and attendance was quite lax. It was well known that people called in sick when they weren't. People called in if they needed a day off for a school thing, for their kids, or for a hangover. Everyone knew they were doing it. Nothing happened as a result. Right or wrong, it happened. I got used to it, and like others, sometimes abused it. I wasn't the best, but also not the worst. We got a new head of department. I now see she wanted to change this culture. They did some announcements/warnings, but I didn't pick up exactly what was being said. My fault, totally. So, I ran out of annual leave. Wanted a holiday, and like others, I just called in sick. I did this at a time when my department was very busy. It was bad for my colleagues, and I get them being annoyed with me. Some of them found out I was away from my friends' posts and told my manager, who took it through disciplinary process, and they sacked me. I later found out from one of the ex-colleagues that I handed it to the company on a plate. I gave them the perfect case, gave them all the evidence, etc., so they could sack me as a warning to everyone else. The absence rate is apparently great now. How stupid am I? I went into shock and panic a bit when I was sacked. I was scared about being homeless and never getting another job. I applied via agencies and got short-term work. Lots of it. It was hard. As per my post, I found out about a job at my boyfriend and his brother's employer, which was similar to what I'd done, and thought if I got that, I wouldn't have gaps in my CV, resume, etc. I see now how inconsiderate I was of both of them, especially Kieran, who would have had to vouch for me. I've apologized to Kieran, and he's accepted it. I also apologized to their mom. Dave did know about it, by the way, just felt it was easier not to. Kieran knowingly took the rap for him. So, I got lots of short-term agency minimum wage jobs. I got a job in a pub kitchen. I've since been promoted to the bar. I burnt my arm on the night of Dave's sister's engagement party, which I couldn't get the night off for. Incidentally, on that night, Dave's mom had a few drinks and told lots of family members why I wasn't there. Nice. On the plus side, I ended up getting an evening job cleaning offices through Dave's auntie. I've still got it until I feel more secure about other jobs. One of the longer, short-term positions I got, I was sacked for being late, due to an accident on the motorway. It really opened my eyes. I'm now working in a similar job to the one I lost, but for less money and longer hours. There's a regular overtime, 6 to 2 on a Saturday, and I'm at the moment keeping my pub and cleaning jobs, so I'm taking home a bit more. The main job is going okay though. The company is good, and long-term, there may well be more prospects than previously. I'm being the perfect employee and intend to remain so. Around the same time as my post, Kieran and his partner announced they were expecting a baby, so I was obviously not priority. Their sister announced her engagement, the party I missed, and lots of commenters here expressed their hope that Dave would leave me. Lovely. He didn't. I now think it was because he didn't have the guts. We aren't together anymore. My decision, though I think he was relieved. Not really anything to do with this. He's seeing someone else now. He says they met after we split up. I don't believe him, but what can I do? Some Redditors will be pleased, no doubt. I randomly saw Kieran after this. He said he thought we weren't right together, that I needed someone to stand up to me more. And Dave wasn't it. Made me feel strangely better somehow. I actually feel I will miss Kieran more than Dave. He was like a big brother. He'll be a great dad. Anyway, yes, I was the asshole. I got a lot of nasty comments and DMs, but also got a lot of advice and support, which helped me a lot, so thanks. Life is quite hard at the moment, but I'm working on getting it better. Relevant comments. Stephen Allen, 1977. Thanks for the update. Seems unlike most of the posters in My the Asshole, you took on the advice given and have been working hard to be a better person. Better to make a mistake early in life and move forward with the experience. Opie responds, thanks. I really don't want to screw up my life more than I have already. I appreciate your comment. User Dina Took comments. I saw this when you posted it in the wrong sub earlier. I just wanted to message and say that it is wonderful that you took the comments and used that as a moment to reflect on what happened in your choices. It really sounds like you're focused on moving forward in a better way. That's wonderful. I hope things continue to look up for you and you continue learning from mistakes to be a better, stronger, and happier version of you than you were when you first posted about this situation. Good luck. Opie responds, thanks. This actually means a lot. New update. December 21st, 2023. 7 months later. Almost a full year after the first post. What a difference a year makes. Just realized it's a year since I first posted on Reddit that I was worried I was going to be sacked for wrongly declaring I was sick when I wasn't. I got sick pay to go on a last-minute cheapy holiday. Company found out and I lost my job. I was stupid. This Christmas is going to be amazing in comparison. Last Christmas was shit. I spent the entire time worrying and then got fired in January. Posting on Reddit was also stupid, and yet here I am again. Everyone hated me and the DMs were horrible. They may be again, but I want to feel some people might be a bit nicer. I spent a lot of this year working long hours in minimum wage jobs, but did eventually get a job similar to the one I lost. On lower money, but more overtime, with 2 other part-time jobs to support. Still doing one in a pub, but leaving after Christmas. Because they've made me permanent! I know I don't have full employee rights for 2 years, but it's going so well and I'm getting good feedback. I also trust myself not to fuck up again. Happy Christmas, everyone. See, this is an example of someone actually taking accountability, learning, and growing. Good on OP. They faced the consequences, they took it on the nose, they kept their head high, they pushed forward, they learned from them, and they're doing better. I will say it is kind of shitty that OP was kind of just made to be an example in a company culture that everyone participated in. Still doesn't make what they did right, but considering that they were just the example when everyone else was also doing it is just an unfortunate thing. They were looking for an easy way to show they meant business, and OP provided it on a silver platter. It most certainly didn't help that they decided to do this during one of their company's busiest seasons, and the employees saw, oh, well, we're working our ass off. OP's out here just fucking having a vacation on their sick hours. Let's see what management thinks about this. But while OP did face consequences and definitely was a little socially inept in the first couple posts, they did pick themselves back up. And it sounds like they have a new lease on life and a second chance. And don't squander it this time. Don't let your friends post evidence of you abusing your company's sick day policy. But beyond that, good luck. Cross-posted from r/mytheasshole. Would I be the asshole if I tell my wife that I will no longer be helping with her pregnancy cravings or sleep next to her because she lashed out at me for not finding choco chip ice cream at 3 a.m.? This happened a couple of days ago and I was really pissed. I'm here because I want to know if I'm in the wrong here. My wife is going to give birth to our twin daughters. I've done everything to support her. I make breakfast every day, and I make it a point to make whatever she asks me to make. Yesterday, my wife woke up at 2 a.m. and told me that she wanted to eat ice cream. We had no ice cream left because she ate it all at night. I really wanted to get her the ice cream. She told me that she wanted choco chip. I drove for an hour to find a place at that time, but they didn't have any choco chip at that time. I didn't want to disappoint her, so I got strawberry, her next favorite flavor. When I got back, I told her that I didn't find Choco Chip. I don't know what happened, but she started crying and yelling at me. She threw away the ice cream, called me a fucking imbecile, and told me I don't love her. She also told me that she didn't want to sleep next to me. I slept in another room. Now, today, she comes to me, cries, apologizes, and tells me that she was really stressed out. But I did not sleep with her at night. I've decided that I don't want to do anything now. This is not the first time this has happened. I'm not a fantastic cook. She insists that I make something for her, but when I make it, she always tells me that it's horrible. She later apologizes and tells me that it was wonderful. All this started after the pregnancy. Would I be the asshole here? User Chipkin Sandwich, with her tagline, "My cat said you're the asshole," comments, "Something I've, female, said to my wife in situations where I'm feeling like OP's wife was," paraphrased but expressed in the gist, "I'm irrationally frustrated with you because of XYZ. I know logically that XYZ isn't your fault, and I'll get over it, but I'm just irrationally frustrated right now." I think it's helpful to try to take a brief step back to acknowledge when your emotions are overwhelming you and exceeding your ability to act rationally. I find it helps avoid making the situation worse when you can avoid blaming someone for something that isn't their fault. Something like, she called me a fucking imbecile and told me I didn't love her. She also told me that she didn't want to sleep next to me, is blaming and punishing your partner for something that is not his fault. Frankly, I think waking your partner up at 2 a.m. and expecting them to leave the house to go get ice cream is also irrational, and I respect his willingness to do it at all. On the original post, there was this comment exchange here. Dolphy comments, "Not the asshole. Pregnancy can genuinely be tough, and it is understandable to a certain extent why your wife acted the way she did. But there is a line, and she crossed it, especially by lashing out on you. However, you can clearly see that she's going through a lot of stress regarding the baby, especially with the mood swings that we can observe. While I think that you're not the asshole, you should still try and maintain some level of patience with her because it's possible she's undergoing some serious stress." Lady Leto comments, "Get her to see a doctor too. Mood swings like that aren't healthy on the mental end. It will help out in the long run." Deleted user comments, "Yeah, if it's this bad now, I imagine the postpartum will be a nightmare and she'll go on meds for the safety of her and the kids. If it's possible, I can't remember what's safe with breastfeeding. It's been a while." I opted to read some of the comments here to help kind of give me some additional context because I'm 25, have no experience in situations like this, and also, if it wasn't obvious, don't exactly have the capability to get pregnant. I do respect the efforts the husband is going through, but also, there is just a certain point where you're gonna hit like a breaking point. You're gonna hit a wall, and it sounds like that's what he's hit. I don't know what the proper steps would be here, because you can only really take so much verbal and just emotional abuse before you shut down like OP did. And this is OhNoConsequences, and the consequences in this post is OP shutting down to how his wife is treating them. So my question would be, because we already have a comment that kind of gives some advice on this one, but how would you handle this? I do think that the wife crossed the line here, but that's also because of the position that I'm in with who I am as a person. But how do you feel on this one? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Why do you disagree with me? And in addition, what would you do in a situation like this?
Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code OZ at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.